All right, are we good?
Hold on.
I
I'm adjusting my camera.
all right,
Yeah.
I can start. I'll start then.
You want to start?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I look good.
All right. Do I look good? Yeah.
You look
Yeah. Yeah. Do I look good?
perfecto.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 2 of the Andy and Mitch show. I am Mitch Stengel, and my partner over there is Andy Olson, and we're here to talk to you today about sports. This is episode 2, Andy. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Episode 002. We talked about in the first episode. By putting the extra zeros there, we did make a very hefty goal. But
Yeah, we did.
for all the doubters and the haters, we made it to episode 2. We're not just a one-off,
No,
one-hit
never.
wonder.
No.
But I'm not feeling too good today because I went to the doctor's earlier. I was telling you I got some of my skin frozen. I'm gonna put my finger up to the camera.
Ew.
No, it's not showing. It's just a band-aid. You can see it looks small, but I had some skin frozen, and it hurt a lot. Also on my foot. So that's what I'm dealing with today. How's your
Today. Oh,
how's your
sorry. Go ahead.
how's
What?
your how's your heart? Has it recovered over the last week from the Warriors?
From the Warriors? No, not yet. Don't worry.
Okay.
Once we sign Kevin Durant, it'll be fine.
Do you think that's gonna happen? Like, is
No,
that
but no, it's
okay?
not going to happen. But we'll get into that later. Also,
Mhm.
today we'll be talking about Sammy Sosa, everyone's favorite Cubs player,
Oh, gotta love
Mike
him.
Trout, everyone's least favorite MVP,
Yeah.
and also just MLB, NBA, a little bit of college World Series action in there,
Oh yeah.
and then a little surprise at the end for you guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I actually the hat today for this week, we're going with the simple Cubs hat. I mentioned in the first episode, changing hats every day. Not every day, every week. I
I
got too
have
many of them. You
the
got
Chicharito Mexico jersey,
yeah. Yeah, you do.
uh, rocking that. So, should we get right into it, Andy?
Let's go.
All right, so our first topic is Sammy Sosa and whether
Mhm.
his number, among others such as Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens, should be retired for their respective MLB teams. I know, Andy, you have a huge preference on this.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Well, this caught my attention earlier in the week. It was a article posted to Sports Illustrated, and it was just going over uh, players' numbers who should be retired because Pete Rose happening earlier this week, 14
Hmm.
finally being retired by the Reds, and the one that stuck out is at the very bottom, honorable mention. It had Sammy Sosa, which is odd to think about,
Yeah,
even though it seems so long ago that he was part of this Cubs team
yeah,
because the Cubs just won their 50th game, feeling really good. You just kind of forget about like that 2000, actually he late 90s, early
yeah.
2000s.
2000s, yeah,
Those were good teams too, but they never got it done. Really,
yeah,
the key player in that was Sammy Sosa. So if anyone was going to have their number retired from that era, it would probably be Sammy Sosa. I could argue Kerry Wood along
yeah.
with Sammy
I agree.
Sosa, but it would probably be him. But for me personally, because the question is, should the number 21 be retired? I'm gonna say no, just because I don't think he did enough to have his number retired. Because we just start retiring. I mean, he did a lot. He had a lot of home runs, but some of that is tainted because of steroids,
Yeah,
corked bat, all of that. It's a little bit tainted because of that. And instead of retiring his number, I think a lot of Cubs fans look at his number and they just get happy because number 21 always meant like, oh man, that player's awesome.
that kid
Oh,
hit bombs.
oh yeah, and I got seriously excited every time someone would get the number 21 because it would remind me of Sammy Sosa. So instead of retiring his number, I think they should just pass it down to someone else because having someone wear the number 21, I think would be more. I don't know. It just feels better than having it retired. That no one else can
Yeah,
wear it. I think it should be promoted and have like someone else wear it because it's a number that makes Cubs fans happy and add to that
you're
number
right.
21 legacy.
See, I think this is a broader issue to me.
Hmm.
Sammy Sosa was a fantastic player, one of the most thrilling players to ever wear a Cubs uniform. We all know that. But, to me, even as a Cubs fan, I don't want to see it retired because if you retire Sammy Sosa's number, that leads way to retiring Roger Clemens' number, Mark McGwire, all those players who really symbolized the PED era.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that rewarding and recognizing players who allegedly used PEDs and, corked bats, pine tar, that sort of thing. I don't think that showing baseball players of today and tomorrow that, these players did all these things, but we'll still recognize them because they were good.
Hmm.
These things are illegal in the game of baseball, and you're basically rewarding them for their success that was fake and tainted,
It's kind of like the Hall of Fame debate.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of always guesses how many votes each year Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens are going to get. Sammy Sosa's always near the bottom, so I don't even
Yeah,
expect
he's
him to
not
make
gonna.
the Hall of
Sammy
Fame.
Sosa shouldn't make the Hall of Fame.
That's an even bigger issue though, is about the Hall of Fame is if it's even special, because there's a lot of players in the Hall of
There's a
Fame.
ton. Yeah.
Like probably more than deserve to be in there, but that's a different topic of discussion. But
Hmm.
simply for the 21, I think, and just anyone that has to do with PEDs, it's not the right time. I
Yeah.
think because Pete Rose, it took him what? I forget when he stopped playing. 80s,
80s. Yeah.
mid 80s.
So
That's 30
30 years.
years
Yeah.
for them to finally forgive him and
I mean, we're talking
retire his number.
2003, 2004, 2005.
Yeah,
So it's only been 10, 15 years since this happened. It's still fresh. There's still an issue of PEDs and performance. HGH, things like that.
yeah.
In
There was a John Oliver special where they were talking about Olympics
Yeah.
and PEDs, where no one's really doing anything about it, and people are just kind of thinking like, why not just let them do PEDs? Which, first of all, that's an awful idea.
It's an awful idea.
You know?
That's like giving a baseball player an aluminum bat.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it ruins the integrity of the game, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't enjoy it as much.
I wouldn't either, and I mean, it's still happening today, and so it's still a problem. And so if you tell these 21, 22-year olds who are in the league who have gotten here clean,
Yeah, and we
they're underperforming maybe a little bit. They were good in college, but they come up to the MLB, they're a little underperforming. They need a little boost. They say, all right, well, Sammy Sosa just got in. Mark McGwire just got in. They were awesome. I looked up to them when I was a kid.
yeah, it's such a slippery slope if you start allowing that kind of stuff. I mean,
Because it's a domino effect. If you
Yeah.
let Sammy Sosa in, you let Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens. I don't think that Roger Clemens' number would ever be retired by any team, though. Just
I don't think he played with the team long enough to have his
exactly,
number
but
retired. He was all over the
his
place.
style of play,
Yeah.
or just what he did, it's huge. It's still in the media today,
Yeah,
and
you know,
I don't think that we should be embellishing and rewarding these guys for what they did.
I mean, Sammy Sosa, he's not an Ernie Banks, not
No,
a Billy Williams,
no.
not Ron Santo, not a Greg Maddux. He's not with those guys. So instead of just retiring every number of someone who does pretty well in the Cubs uniforms, like the Yankees have been doing, because what are they at, like 20 retired numbers?
They're at a ton.
They have no single digit numbers left, which is absolutely crazy
That's
to me.
crazy.
Also, another fun fact about numbers: the Cubs are the only original franchise from like 1900 to not have a single digit number retired.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even think who would even be a candidate for that.
No one. Just because that's the Cubs' history.
Yeah.
No one is a candidate for that.
Yeah.
But instead of just retiring these numbers and not allowing anyone else to wear them, we should promote people to use these numbers in these like special uniforms because we just like add to the legacy of them. Just like John Lester is adding to the legacy of number 34. I was pretty happy when he took Kerry Wood's number because like Kerry Wood 34.
Yeah.
We're just adding on to that. And I think that's a good idea. Reserve that for really special players.
And
there's a couple of players on the Cubs right now who could be pretty special players.
Yeah, definitely. And Kerry Wood is not a Hall of Fame player.
No.
Kerry Wood will probably never have his number retired by the Cubs.
Yeah.
But he was just such a fun player, and everyone loved him.
Yeah, and he was a fan favorite like Sammy Sosa was.
Exactly. And so I think that it's kind of the same case. While Kerry Wood didn't do anything wrong, it's just one of those things where like he was loved by the fans. The fans still love him. I still remember his 20K game. You had such a good Cubs history, but you just don't deserve to have your number retired.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same case with Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa was great, but even though he did use PEDs, I don't think that his stats give enough emphasis or like are good enough to even retire.
Yeah, 600 home runs. That's not good enough.
It is, but
Yeah, whatever.
I don't
We know
I
what
don't
you
think
mean.
so.
Just because the
Yeah,
PEDs taint it in a way, and it's not
yeah,
okay with us.
yeah.
Um, so if you have any thoughts on this subject, we failed to mention this in the very beginning, but you can see there's a little. I'm trying to point at it right now. Hit us up at Hash Brown, Andy, and Mitch on the Twitters. You can
hmm
also go to our
Personal
usernames.
Twitters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Mitch Dangle, you got Yolson
hmm
2016. The hashtag was actually I was thinking about doing it for the first episode, but I wasn't sure if anyone would use it. That's why I didn't include it. But from the request of our friend of the show, Matt Rowley, we have one now. So if you want to tweet at
Yes.
us, if you want to ask us a question, if you want to contribute to the conversation, go ahead to Hash Brown, Andy, and Mitch.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
so that wraps up the Sammy Sosa talk. I think we're pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that moves on to a very difficult topic of discussion now.
Yeah.
And that is, what do the Angels have to do with Mike Trout? Let's set this up for you first.
Yeah.
If
Go
you're
ahead.
a fan of baseball, you know the Angels are not very good right now.
They're not going to be good for the
They're
next
not going to
5
be good
years.
for any time in the foreseeable future because they got a ton of older players like Albert Pujols. I'm trying to think of other players, but I just can't right now. I'm not familiar with the Angels roster, but
Yeah.
the point is they're mediocre right now. They're actually last place in the AL West last time I checked, and they're not going to get any better because if you look at their farm system,
It's trash.
oh boy,
Yeah.
it's not great. You can argue that teams like the Reds, the Brewers, the Braves, they all have reasonable farm systems with at least one top tier prospect that fans can get excited about. There is just nothing in the Angels farm system. It's like a barren wasteland. It's like the Cubs when they had Jim Hendry as the general manager. It's bad out there. So a lot of journalists are people who try to be GMs are suggesting that the Angels should trade Mike Trout because they're not going to win a championship with him. It'll be too hard to build with him and try to keep him and try to acquire those prospects.
Yeah.
It may just be easier to get rid of him and get a ton of prospects in return.
In return.
Yeah, I actually got this. This is from an article posted on Bleacher Report earlier this week. And Mitch, just the idea of having to trade. I'd hate to be in Andrew. I think his name is Friedman, the old Rays general manager. I'd hate to be in his spot right now.
He's got a very tough decision.
There are pros on both sides of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep him, he's an MVP candidate every year that he plays.
Single year.
No matter what, no matter how good his team is, he is so consistent that you could argue that he is the best young player in the game right now.
Yeah.
If you do want to trade him, though, you're gonna have to get something phenomenal.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get something like monstrous in return.
This is not a D Rose to the Knicks trade.
No, of course
this
not.
is a Mike Trout, 2014 AL MVP, who still has 10 years in him.
Oh, way more. He's only 24, I believe.
So, you're going to need something. You're going to need good, young talent along with prospects who could be good as well, And so something that I was thinking of, and Andy and I were talking about this before, I think that the Red Sox could be a decent candidate to go for him.
The Red Sox would be a team to do something like this.
They would. Historically, that's just what they do.
Because your small market teams like your Cincinnati, your Milwaukee, your Atlanta, they're not going to try and do some of this.
Mm-mm.
And the Red Sox Red Sox have this history, this annoying history, recent history of always being good and having a good farm system.
Yeah, and so they have the tools to do this. They have players that they could get rid of, like Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Jackie Bradley Jr., and then they have a decent farm system as well. So they could, take two of the players that I mentioned, or pair it with decent offering through prospects and through your farm system, and I think you've maybe got a deal for Mike Trout. I really
It's
do.
possible. It's close
Yeah,
because the Angels right now, like we said, they need something.
yeah,
They need something to go right for them. There's no pitching, barely any offense. You just kind of feel bad for them at the end of
yeah,
the day because they had nothing to look forward to. But it's such a tough decision to have to trade Trout because, like I said, I looked it up. He's 24 right now. Like we said, he was MVP once, Rookie of the Year. He's currently got 156 career home runs, and he's 24. He's got 836 career hits. And he did that in 6 years. He'll probably be a 300 hit career player.
yeah,
Like you don't get that every day, so you're giving up almost a guaranteed 3,000 hits,
yeah.
and you have to get something great in return to that. But
Hmm.
it's tough to imagine. It's tough to imagine a team giving up so much to get that. Because Trout's great, but why would you give up, you know, a lot of other great prospects just to get
Yeah,
one
just to
great
get him.
guy?
That I didn't really think about that. The team on the other end giving up so
Yeah.
much just for this player. And while he is not just a player, he's Mike Trout. There's always just things that could happen, and
Hmm.
it's just there's so much risk. And you got good players. If you're, I'm just using the Red Sox example
Hmm.
again. You have hot players like Betts, Bogarts, and Jackie Bradley. Do you give that up?
It's it it's tough to make the call here
Yeah,
if you're the Angels GM.
I
I
agree.
mean,
Yeah.
just looking at his WAR, he has 42.6 wins above replacement in 6 seasons. The
Uh,
Angels have won 42 more games because of him alone.
that's
That's absolutely
that's insane.
mind-boggling to me. He's easily the best player in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, and it sucks that he got put on a team that used to be good.
They were good, and I believe they've made the playoffs with him before. Yeah, they made
Yeah. Oh yeah.
2014. They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
They made it to. It looks like yeah, they had a series. They were in the ALDS against the Royals in 2014.
Gotcha.
Although in his one playoff appearance, he had one hit in 12 at bats,
Ooh,
and that results in a batting average of 0.83.
but that's such a small
It
sample
is such a
size,
small
though.
sample size.
You can't really do much with that.
It's tough to say what they should do with him at this point. If I'm the GM, I would not do it this season.
I wouldn't either.
Like that, I think for me, I think I would just freak out about the big decision that I'd have to make and just not do anything.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
because if you're the Angels, I think you should focus on your scouting and getting players in the draft.
I
And
agree.
it's tough to say what Trout thinks in this scenario because obviously he wants to win a championship,
Yeah.
and you don't know how bad he wants to stay in LA because you may have to convince them like, "Hey, we're gonna suck for a while because we want to keep you." Like, well, what are you supposed to do there? I'm sure he likes playing in
Do
Los
you know his
Angeles.
contract? Like how long they have him for?
Let's see. I can look that up right now as I am on Baseball Reference. And he is signed through 2020. 6 years, 144.5 million.
So he's making bank.
He is making bank. Clearly, he's making money, but he will be 29 when he hits the free agency.
Probably still good.
Oh yeah, easily still good.
You
These are
know,
his prime years coming up, but he'll probably still be good when he's 30.
I don't trade him yet.
No, I wouldn't trade
I
him yet either.
I don't
Especially
either.
with so much time left on his deal,
Yeah.
you could probably convince player or teams to give you more
Mhm.
in return for that.
Yeah.
It's so tough to do anything right now. Just don't do anything.
Yeah. I agree.
Just leave it be and see if the situation fixes itself. See
Exactly.
if you can draft someone else. Maybe trade Albert Pujols instead.
Who's gonna take Albert Pujols? Let's be real
You're
here.
absolutely right. Just like the Phillies are having that issue with who's going to take Ryan Howard.
Yeah, no one's gonna take
No one's
Ryan
going to take
Howard.
Ryan Howard.
No, absolutely not.
So we pretty much end that debate on the same
Yep.
side again. It's
All
pretty
right.
easy. It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough to
it,
make the
it
call
is.
there.
All right, we're gonna play a little game now, called
Woo!
ML
Games!
Contender and Pretender. I'm gonna name a couple teams, and Andy is going to tell me and you whether he believes that this team is a title contender or a title pretender.
And you
Are
should.
you ready, Andy?
I am ready, and you should listen to me because I work in baseball.
Yes.
That's right. Collegiate Summer League Baseball, I know all about. Major League Baseball as well.
All right, Andy. The Indians are on an 11-game win streak and arguably the hottest team in the league right now. Is this team a contender or a pretender?
I am going to go with contender. I say
Really?
this. Yeah, I say this because I really like Cleveland. I really like Francisco Lindor specifically. They're really hot right now. I have no idea if this has anything to do with the Cavs, but right now, 11-game win streak.
Yeah.
At the time of recording this, who knows if
Mhm.
it'll change by the time this gets posted
Yeah.
later today. But they're doing all of this without arguably one of their most important players, Michael Brantley. He's
Yeah,
injured
you're
right
right.
now, and he's been out. And they've been doing all this without him. So when they get him back later in the season, I just imagine that will probably propel them. Because, you're going to get tired with young players.
Mhm.
So they're going to need some kind of, rejuvenation later in the season. I think Michael Brantley coming back to the lineup is definitely going to be that.
I agree. I see him as kind of like a Carlos Correa or Jose Altuve type,
Yeah.
who just really, either quick offense and he just rejuvenates the team when he plays. Lindor, he's a phenomenal player. Yeah, I agree.
He's really great. And Francisco Lindor is such. I think he's a great player. Great defense.
Mhm.
Really good hitter. Has a little bit of power. About 10
A little bit, yeah.
10 home runs a year in there.
Yeah.
And they got a really good player in him. And this is a good player to build around for years
Yeah,
to come.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
and right now you're playing in the AL Central with the White Sox, the Tigers, and the Twins. And
Yeah.
it's like the Tigers have been doing all right.
But that's easy division games. You should be
yeah.
winning 2 out of 3
Against the
on
White
those
Sox and
every
Twins,
time.
at least 2 out of 3 every time.
Yeah.
And you got the Royals who are tougher, and I honestly think the Royals will end up winning the division
So do I.
just because they have that experience.
They're the Royals.
Yeah.
They know what to do at the end of the year.
Back-to-back AL championships.
Yeah.
They've been there before and they know what to do. But I do think I had this at the beginning of the year too. I do think Cleveland will have a wild card berth.
I believe so as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next team. The Nationals have struggled with injuries, inconsistent play, and teams are starting to learn how to play around Bryce Harper.
Yeah, the Cubs did that first.
But
I'm
is
happy
this
to say
team
that.
a title contender, Andy?
Title contender. Yes, I do believe the Nationals are a title contender. And I think the entire difference has been Dusty Baker.
Really?
Yeah, I love Dusty Baker.
He's a great coach.
And that comes probably from the 2003. Should be National League champions, but whatever. I really like Dusty Baker. He's done good things. He did really well with the Reds when they were having that good streak at the end of the 2000s. So I do think this was a contender last year for me too. But Dusty Baker has made a huge difference this year. And, with the Mets having their struggles with Harvey, a couple of injuries thrown in there as well. Not sure what they're doing at first base. And the rest of the NL East, the Marlins have heated up and they've become a better team than they have.
They have. They've been playing really well as of late.
Completely different team.
Yeah.
But, with the Braves and the Phillies, another easy schedule that you can get by.
Yeah, exactly.
And with starting pitching like Scherzer, Strasburg, you just called up Lucas Giolito, I think I'm saying his name right, the number 1 prospect in all of baseball.
You're right. Their pitching is dominant.
This team looks good for years to come as well.
Yeah,
and then,
you're right.
Of course, Bryce Harper. Even if teams pitch around him, he's Bryce Harper. And Daniel Murphy's super hot right now.
Yeah.
Ryan Zimmerman is going to have to step it up a little bit. He's been kind of been dead weight a little bit for the Nationals. He's like something 0 for 11 or something with bases loaded. just because a lot of that has come from the Cubs because they have loaded the bases with Harper a couple of times in the series they
Yeah,
played against them, and Zimmerman hasn't been able to do anything. And good for teams for doing that if Zimmerman
yeah.
can't show up in those moments. So yeah, the first ever pick in Nationals history. Zimmerman needs to step it up a little bit for the Nationals to be a contender. But honestly, in the end, I think they do. I think they went out. I think they beat the Mets for the NL East.
I think so as well.
I think they do that because the Mets are so unsure right now. I
There's.
mean,
Do you think that the Mets make the playoffs?
yes, and I will get to that actually with the next one.
You will.
Yeah, because we got to talk about a different team that I think
You're right.
won't
The
make the
Cardinals
playoffs.
are not the same team that they've been in the past,
Oh no, they are
obviously,
not.
but still some consider them to be one of the best teams in baseball. Andy, has this team's time run out, or are they still a title contender?
I don't know if their time has run out, but their time is not now. If you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
I
Because the
agree.
Cardinals are another one of those teams like the Red Sox where they're always good and they always have a good farm system. I don't know how they do it. Hopefully the Cubs are gonna continue to do that. But
Yeah,
I think they're pretender right now
I
because
agree.
they are in a hot streak right now. You know, swept the Cubs. You know, winning some more games against everyone else. I mean, if you take out the Cubs from the records of the Cardinals and the Pirates, they're pretty good teams.
Yeah,
But
they both are.
having to face the Cubs, it's really tough. I mean, I don't think this team makes the playoffs because of the depth at starting pitching that's not there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Wainwright's not the same,
Mm-mm.
and that they don't have the same power on offense,
Yeah.
as they used to.
I mean, they're the players that they relied on in the past aren't doing well right now. I mean, Colton Long was sent down to AAA this
Yeah.
season. I'm not sure if he's made his way back, but he was definitely there for a little bit. And then they have some good guys waiting in the wings, like
Hmm.
starting pitcher Alex Reyes, another really young guy who's going to be really good. And as soon as he gets up and develops and becomes just a quality starting pitcher, he's pretty much going to be a quality starting pitcher. That's what I think. As soon as they start adding more depth around the team,
Yeah.
they're going to be back to the way
I
they
mean,
were.
right now they're leaning on Matt Carpenter and who? Steven Piscotty.
Yeah, I mean
You know,
they lost too much in free
and
agency. I think.
and to me, they're both very good players.
Yeah.
Matt Carpenter is phenomenal,
Yeah.
but is he someone who you can go to if you absolutely need it? I don't know.
It's tough to say. Um, I don't know if he can be the leader of this team. This team needs another
They
superstar.
desperately need it. That's just how the Cardinals go, though.
They haven't
They-
had a superstar since Pujols.
yeah, and once Pujols left, I mean, they've still been good. They were good when Pujols left,
Oh
still,
yeah, they were.
but this team is not the same.
No, not after last year. After losing Hayward, after losing Lackey. Lackey was smaller, and they
Hmm.
still lost him, and it's been big. I mean, he's been 7-3 so far this year.
Yeah, he's been really good. I mean, yeah, they lost both those guys, and Hayward was supposed to be
Hmm.
their go-to guy and their all-star, and
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, it does. Being a Cubs fan, this is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, heck
But
yeah.
yeah, they're gonna come back. I
Yeah.
mean, next year they're probably gonna be good too. But
Yeah.
this year there's too much. Like I think the Mets, and the Dodgers are gonna end up better than them.
You think so? You think that both those teams all
Kershaw's gonna will this team.
well,
Oh man,
Kershaw's that's just a whole nother conversation
and
because that man.
the young starting pitching too for the
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Mhm.
Julio Urias, Brock Stewart,
Mhm.
ISU alum.
He is
Brock
an
Stewart.
ISU alum.
He's making his major league debut tonight.
Yeah.
So I probably will watch that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's the Yahoo Sports free game. I think I saw earlier.
Oh, maybe.
I'll probably watch it.
I don't know. Yeah.
But there are just too many other good teams right now that I think are better than the Cardinals that are probably going to make it. Even the Pirates too. The Pirates could come back and finish
Yeah.
second in the division. It's entirely possible.
I mean, speaking of could come back, I feel like we've been saying this about this Nets team all year.
Oh
The
yeah.
Houston Astros are one of the teams that people they seem to be waiting on, and they just haven't produced. They've been
Mhm.
hovering around 500 all year, and it's unclear whether they are even able and have the talent to make the playoffs. But Andy, do you see the playoffs in the Astros' future?
Um, in their future, yes. This year, no.
No. Yeah.
Like you said, everyone's been like, oh, just wait for them to warm up. They're gonna get there, and they are warming up. But I don't think they have enough pieces to really get there.
I don't
You
think
know,
so either.
because you got the amazing infield of Correa and Altuve, the middle
Yeah.
infield there, and then you got Springer out in right field. But they're missing some key pieces. Like they don't have a first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing starting pitching depth. I mean, Dallas Keuchel is not the guy that he was last year.
Not at all.
I
And
mean,
I think that's a huge part of it.
yeah, Dallas
They
Keuchel
this
was the
team
reason that they made it
relied
last
on
year.
him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't lose a game at home.
Yeah.
You know?
And, when you're the leader of your pitching staff isn't performing like he should,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people were scared about Arrieta this year, that he wouldn't be able to perform, and he has so far.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he slowed down a little
he
bit.
slowed down, but
But
that's saying that's not much.
yeah, I think he's speaking of Arrieta, I think he's gonna hit his stride coming up because last year he hit his stride like right at the All-Star break.
Yeah,
I remember
mean,
the game before the All-Star break was the game that he actually hit it, where he shut out the White Sox.
Yeah, I remember that. But when you talk about Keuchel and Arrieta, they're not in the same boat anymore because both of these pitchers pitched phenomenally last year, and for both of them to fall off, that was inevitable.
Yeah.
But no one expected Keuchel to fall off this much and struggle the way that he has, and he can't be a leader for that pitching club anymore, or for the clubhouse.
Club? Yeah.
Shut up. He can't be that, and no one has been able to step up, and I think that that's a huge reason why they're not in playoff contention this year. If he picks it up, maybe next year, but they just don't. Like you said, they don't have enough pieces.
Yeah, totally agree. Also saying that as my face is it's turning red right now because I have the natural light coming in. It is making my face look all red. And I think I'm working with the lights right now. So I'll deal with that. But yeah, Houston.
There's a problem.
Pretender.
We have a problem.
We have a problem, Houston.
Shall we move on?
We have a problem.
The next one?
We can move on. This is your territory.
Yes. NBA free agency begins July 1st. So many free agents in what some consider a decently deep free agent class. Yeah. Where are all these players going to go? And I think that the place where you have to start is Kevin Durant. The carousel of teams that he's said that he's going to meet up with. He's meeting up with OKC tomorrow, and then he's going to head to New York to meet with both the Warriors and the Spurs Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Andy, where do you think that this phenomenal player, arguably in the top 5, not even arguably, he's in the top 5 players in the league.
Yeah.
Where does he go?
Oh, man, it's tough to say just because I'm not a fan of KD. And that is purely because of my love for the rapper Lil B and his song FKD.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's so tough to say because you can make cases for everywhere that he's going, and I'm arguably not. I know I've told everyone that I'm not the most knowledgeable when following the NBA.
Yeah.
Just because it's not my scene, but. He's got to stay in OKC, right?
I think that he'll. The Warriors, according to Mark Spears, or Mark Stein.
Mark Stein.
Mark Stein, yeah, Mark Stein of ESPN said that they're going to build their approach around building the best offense ever.
Really?
And they would. I mean, if Golden State added KD, they would be probably the best offense.
The West is probably in trouble.
Yeah, but I think that he'll stay in OKC and do a 1-1, which means that he'll be able to opt out after next year.
Yeah, just kind of like what LeBron's been doing.
Yeah, and it would be the best decision money-wise because the cap is expected to explode, in these next few years.
Yeah, the cap. Well, first of all, that has something to do with ads on jerseys.
Yes,
which is.
But Andy, you literally try and make an ads on jerseys plug in every time that we
It's
talk.
it's stupid. What do you want me to say? It's it's gonna ruin sports. That's what I'll tell you. And they need to stop it immediately. But anyways,
But yeah, so the tap is expected to explode, and so he'll be making a lot of money. Also, that's the year that Russell Westbrook's deal goes out. And
oh,
so maybe
okay,
they would
see.
move together, or maybe OKC would just implode on itself.
If that
You
happens,
know,
they just move back to Seattle.
I, you want that? You would really like that.
Oh, I also always play the Supersonics. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But I think that adding Oladipo was a really solid move. The
Yeah,
OKC straight stole Victor Oladipo from the Magic.
I didn't understand that trade at all.
But I think that that helped, and I think that he will end up staying in OKC. Another free agent that a lot of people are talking about is Hassan Whiteside. He's arguably one of the best defensive players in the league. Huge potential,
Hmm.
super tall guy, and a little. He needs a little more on offense. But there's so many teams going for him, and he's a tough one because not a lot of people are talking about him staying in Miami, and that's fair because he wasn't really the star in Miami, and
No,
Whiteside is definitely one of those guys who wants to be the star
I think
of
so. I
no
mean,
matter where he is, and so that's why I think that the Lakers would be perfect for him.
you definitely just stole my pick. I was gonna say the Lakers.
I think that either the Lakers or Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets, could be a dark horse team, but I think that he belongs in LA. He would be the star of that team.
Hmm.
Him, Ben Ingram, D'Angelo Russell if they don't get rid of
Did you say
him.
Ben Ingram?
Brandon Ingram. Why did I say Ben Ingram? Brandon Ingram.
We know what you meant, Brandon Ingram.
And even if you sign like maybe a Chandler Parsons or a Nicholas Batum, you have a decent team that'll win 30 games.
But will the Lakers do that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hassan
But
Whiteside is someone who they would go for.
oh yeah,
I
Whiteside. But the complementary pieces are
Yeah, maybe
something
not.
that I'm.
Maybe not that,
Well,
but
they should.
that would be smart. They have the money for it.
Yeah, But will they? Probably not.
I don't know. I
Because I'm not a fan. The Lakers have been so complacent over the
Yeah.
last couple of years, and they've been making such bad decisions that I'm like, why would you even do that?
I
Like,
mean, Kobe allowed them to make bad decisions, though. They had
yeah,
error, a margin for error with
yeah.
Kobe, and so uh, I think that he'll ultimately end up in Lakerland. I
I
do.
you think he probably will. Team won't be good, but he'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be the star. He'll get paid the max, and
Yeah,
that's all that matters if
the,
you live in LA, right?
yeah. The new number 21 in Laker Town.
And so on to our next free agent, who really hasn't been considered a free agent, but
Mhm.
recent reports say that him and the Heat are very far on talks, and so Dwayne Wade is willing to look at other offers, aka he's looking to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh man.
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this happened because they're bros. LeBron and Wade are bros. But
Yeah.
he would realistically only be able to make 8, 9, 10 mil when in Miami he could make 16 plus.
I mean, I think the maybe LeBron will just pay him from like his
Yeah,
salary and all his
I mean,
endorsements. Maybe the people of Cleveland will pay his salary.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they'll make a Dwayne Wade tax so he
yeah.
can join Cleveland. And if
That would be a crazy team though.
I remember when everyone was like, "Oh, Dwayne Wade, he's got to come home to Chicago."
I remember that. We wanted him too.
Oh, we still want him.
I mean, yeah, he's not gonna come here though. No,
Yeah,
no way. But
now there's no way.
if Wade somehow leaves Miami, which I think that he'll stay in the end, I do, just because like from a legacy standpoint, that's where he made his home, and
Yeah,
I think that he'll stay. But if he leaves, Whiteside is gone. No way Whiteside even considers offers
and then you just got Chris Bosh in
from Miami.
Miami.
And then you have Bosch if they decide to re-sign Luol Deng,
Yeah.
and then Goran Dragic, who's making $20 million a year.
Ugh, God.
That's a
That hurts.
mess.
You know, if I'm Dwayne Wade, I think I'm done with Miami because
Really?
you can tell they're on their way out.
But a legacy.
I
You're the
know,
man there.
but if I'm not thinking about family and I'm not thinking about, you know, everything that I had done there and like establishing a lifestyle there, if I'm just thinking about one team over the other, I would clearly go to Cleveland
Well, yeah. I mean,
because the Cavs NBA champions. And
yeah,
NBA champions, you get to be on a team with your bro,
yeah.
LeBron, and I mean he fits in pretty well there. They don't really have like a standout uh, shooting guard.
Mm-mm. And they need one. And J.R. Smith has already said that he's going to leave.
Did he? I didn't hear
Yes.
that.
Yeah, he did. So, and if you trade Love, that creates a lot more room. You can pay
That's
D
that's ex-
Wade.
that's exactly what they would have to do is trade Love.
Um, but yeah, that team. My Warriors be trash
Unless they sign Durant.
unless they sign Durant.
Unless
Well,
they
if
sign
if
Durant.
Wade
They
goes to
might.
Cleveland, then I think that Durant would be like crap. Like I need to form a super team too if I want to win a championship.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then I guess our last one would be the infamous Dwight Howard. This
Oh,
guy has had 3 teams in recent years, and he already said he's leaving Houston. He's not coming back, which is a fair choice. He's not. He doesn't belong in Houston.
yeah.
So where does he belong?
Oh man, you got to think about teams with needs right now, and that would be desperate enough to go after Dwight Howard.
I can pick 2.
Well, my mind immediately went to the Lakers because I had forgotten about that whole
He's not going.
debacle.
He's not going back to the
Oh,
Lakers.
I know, of course not, because my mind was immediately, oh, they need a center. They're
Yeah,
pretty desperate, but I forgot about that whole debacle with
yeah.
Kobe and Dwight. Um,
Well, keep in mind, Dwight Howard has already set up meetings with the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks.
really,
Yes.
I hope he doesn't go to the Celtics because I like what the Celtics are doing.
I think he should go to the Celtics.
Really?
I do. They need a big man, and I don't see them getting KD, so
Hmm.
Howard is still a decent option. He's a hothead, yeah, but he's still a star down low. He still put up 16 points per game, 8 rebounds a game
Yeah, but is he?
in
He's probably
Houston.
going to cost them so much money, though.
I guess, but I think that he could still be successful. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not talking like Orlando Magic to the NBA Finals successful,
Hmm.
but I think that he'll still be.
Maybe he should go back to Orlando.
That would be. They got
Surge,
Vucevic.
Surge,
They
and
got
Dwight.
Vucevic. No, he's not going back to Orlando.
All right, whatever you say.
No, he's not going to. No. But I think that he'll go to Boston. I really do.
All right, you say Boston. I am gonna say this is tough. I'm gonna go. Do you Knicks have anyone that at
That's
center?
another option that a
I
lot of
was
people.
gonna say Knicks don't have anyone at center. You
And
just
that
got
would
2
be
rows.
the nixiest move
Oh yeah.
in the world.
We talking about who did the Knicks draft? No, you called the Suns. The Sunsy.
The Suns. Well, Dragan Bender is the sunsiest son that they could have
Oh
picked.
yeah, clearly.
But D. Howard is the nixiest player that they could get.
I
He's a
think they will.
superstar. The the limelight is on him.
You think? Do you think Carmelo and him would be like, oh man, we need a super team now, and then it'll be Rose, Dwight, and Carmelo
Which
and
is
New
what
York.
could happen.
It could. Is it gonna work? No.
That is, oh my
But
god, those are
it'd be
3
funny.
personalities that,
It'd be
oh,
funny. It'd be
that would
so
be
funny.
fun. That would be like Hard Knocks.
Oh
Hard
yeah.
Knocks on the Knicks.
I think it'd be hilarious. So do it, Dwight. Pretty much, like
Yeah,
do it, because I want that to happen now.
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, what is next?
All right. So we're moving back into my neck of the woods, which is baseball. We're moving on. So College World Series, Game 3 tonight. The entire baseball season that started in like late February.
Yeah.
I remember because we were picking what games we were gonna call
Yeah.
all the way back in February.
Mhm.
Finally ends tonight, 4 months later. It feels like the qualifying for getting into the College World Series has been going on forever.
For a long time, yeah.
My team to win, Oklahoma State's out. I liked Oklahoma State because the Cubs' third-round pick is from Oklahoma State and started a couple games. I also like. Did you see they like adopted like a little
The
toy
puppy.
dinosaur? No, not a
Oh,
puppy.
the puppy. Oh.
I said they adopted a little toy dinosaur, and it was like the team mascot that they had in the dugout, and I thought it was one of the funniest things. I called it Eutropolis, Eutrop for short, and I thought it was amazing.
Can I tell you something, Andy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have not watched a single college basketball game all year, or college baseball game all year.
That doesn't surprise me like whatsoever, but for
I will not be watching tonight.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That was what we were gonna get to. Is will you watch? You jumped the gun and you told me you won't, which is a mistake because baseball is amazing and any baseball that you can watch.
I think, despite all of America, I think that Arizona is gonna win. They haven't they haven't lost back-to-back games in a long time, and looking at the pitching staffs, I like the Wildcats pitching staff a little more than I like Coastal Carolina's offense. I'm just gonna throw out 6-4.
6-4.
6-4.
See, with Coastal Carolina, you just like them because they haven't won a national championship in any sport in their team's history.
You're right.
Not women's, teams in school's history. Not women's, not men's, not anything. Not water polo, not track. No national championships. And you want the like America. America wants the underdog to win.
Yeah.
I want the underdog to win because Coastal Carolina winning would be amazing. And I'm a uniform nerd. And
you are.
I love their colors.
They're awesome.
That teal, it looks so good.
I agree.
Honestly, just logo standpoint, Coastal Carolina already has the win. That's pretty much it. And like, what are they? The Chancellors or something?
Yeah, they're the Chancellors.
Oh, that's such a cool name.
That is. It's a really cool name.
It's hard to say, but it's not like Cardinals, Tigers, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I want them to win. Will they win? I think my will them to win.
Gotcha.
See, I was super happy that they won Game 2 because I was working last night with the Kingfish.
Yeah.
And everyone there was like, oh, they like Coastal Carolina better win, so we all get to watch tomorrow because we all have the day off today. Like everyone there was like, we want to watch the game. So I will be watching the game. Baseball for life. Score? You said 6-4 Arizona.
I said 6-4 Arizona.
It was 5-4 Coastal Carolina last night. I'm gonna go. I'm thinking. I'm gonna go 7-4. I'm gonna go 7-4.
Really?
Yeah, you picked a pretty like moderate pick, and I wanted to go moderate as well.
Yeah.
I think Coastal Carolina can get 7 runs. I do, because the power of America will will them to the win.
All right, in our
USA.
last topic of the day, ESPN the Magazine's Body Issue comes out July 6th with stars like Dwayne Wade and Jake Arrieta featured. So Andy Olson, I asked you the question, would you pose naked, nude, bare for ESPN the Magazine?
That's a tough decision because my initial reaction is I don't want people to see my body. But I come back to the point that, they took the time to ask me, which means someone wants to see my body.
You're right.
Which is interesting. And then I also go to, do I want my family to see those photos? Because it's not completely nude.
No.
It's just
they cover things up.
Oh yeah, but you can see mostly everything.
You can see butt. Is that a deal breaker for you?
I think I have a nice butt, so I don't think it's a deal breaker. I want to show off my butt, actually.
I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Oh yeah. If they asked me, I would do it.
What would be your scene?
I like the ones where they go underwater. That's pretty cool.
Do you?
Actually, no. I lie. Not underwater.
Okay.
Jake Arrieta's. Have you seen Jake Arrieta's?
It's pretty cool.
It's in like a desert. I love it. I would put a soccer ball
Yeah.
right where my junk is,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
be in a majestic desert with like a little bit of like side butt. I think that
Yeah.
that would be my pose.
Okay. I can respect that. Um, for me, my mind immediately went to what sport do I do well slash the most, and it immediately went to broadcasting. So I think I would be I think I'd either be in the baseball press box, like hunched over, like over my laptop,
Yeah.
like looking at stats, and I would just be naked doing that
Yeah.
with
Naturally.
with my earphones on, or I would I'd be making an actuality in the newsroom. It's just that my photo shoot would include that because they incorporate people's like sports, and that would be
Yeah.
me. That's radio and broadcasting, so that would be my shoot. And you know what, the ESPN Body Issue, it does it right because it includes both genders.
Hmm.
It's not, you know, I'm
There's
not,
also there's a transgender guy in there too.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Very progressive, and I don't feel like gross when I look at that
No.
because it's like classy and like, oh, we're like promoting bodies, like you don't have to be
Yeah.
super fit to do it. Whereas like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition,
That's a little
you
questionable.
you look at that and you're like, I don't want to look at this. Like it's just like this isn't sports.
Yeah.
Where with this body issue, you get athletes to do it,
Hmm.
and they're all for it, and it's classy. It's not just so that you can look at them naked.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like to promote body image, I think,
I
which is
agree.
good. We
It's
need
great.
we need more people, more companies to promote positive body image in society
I agree.
than companies like Sports Illustrated promoting body image that you can never achieve.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm never gonna look as hot as a Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover model.
But you can look as hot as Prince Fielder.
I can look as hot as Prince Fielder. Good for Prince Fielder.
Vince
I
Wilfork is in it this year.
Is he? Good
Yeah.
for him. I compare myself to those guys. That's what mine would look like. Everyone would look at me and just like, oh, good for that guy. And putting his body in there. And I'd be like, it was a tough decision.
Yeah. No, I would do it in a
So,
heartbeat.
yeah.
I would do it easily.
I don't think anyone would like my photo spread though in the radio broadcasting. Um,
uh,
so we should probably stop talking about ourselves in the nude.
yeah.
So we're getting towards the end of the show. We're currently running a couple of not a couple we're a couple of minutes short, but that's okay. We're trying to get to as close to an hour as possible. We got our last segment coming up. You know it from last week. It's
Hmm.
FaceTime. Mitch, take it away.
All right. So yesterday on Snapchat, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Paul were all together on a boat, on D Wade's boat, and hanging out and enjoying the summers. As two of the three, not Chris Paul, are about to get paid this summer. So that brings me to the topic of if I was a superstar, who would I want in my squad, my entourage? This is what I would pick. I would pick Draymond Green so that we can have an intimidating presence of a big guy, someone who can be the front man of it. And then I would pick Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson seems like the coolest of cool dudes. Like he's walking around with Ciara on his hip, like, ooh, that guy's fly. And lastly, I would bring Macklemore, so I wouldn't be the whitest guy in the group. That is my all-star entourage.
That is an interesting entourage, to say the least. I like that you included Macklemore so that you wouldn't be the whitest.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
for my FaceTime this week, um, I'm going to go back to a topic I broached last week. Last week I talked about the Cubs and their recent skid against the Cardinals that happened last week. I told them I have a feeling that the Cubs are going to go on a streak. I said that. I quoted that. Um, I was so wrong because then we lost 3 of 4 to the Marlins, and now people are starting to freak out a little bit. I keep reading articles that are saying that Kyle Schwarber should be trade bait this year to help get Chapman or Andrew Miller from New York. And it annoys me every time I see that because I know Kyle Schwarber should not be traded from the Cubs, even for Miller half a year from Chapman. Those are great guys, but they're not worth giving up years and years of Kyle Schwarber being one of the better players on your team. I mean, last year in the regular season, he had 16 home runs, and that was only half a year. And then he hit 5 in the postseason. He currently leads all Cubs, like, of all time in postseason home runs. In one postseason, he broke that record. So he had a total of 21 and only 300 at-bats spanning all seasons last year. And that is incredible. If he was healthy this year, he would be up there with Bryant and Rizzo, probably close to 20 home runs already this year. And I just don't think you can give up 40 home run a year power in a trade like this just to get half a year of a reliever. I just think that's a little bit ridiculous, and anyone who suggests that is overreacting a little bit. So, thank you, Mitch, for agreeing with that. That's it.
We're done.
That's our FaceTime. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 002. Like we mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments of this video.
Or in the hashtag.
Or in the,
hashtag Andy and Mitch. Leave
Brown.
us your comments, your questions, topics you want us to talk about,
Yeah.
things you hate about us, whatever you need to do.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Definitely.
We got a couple of special episodes in the works right now. We're going to have some guests coming on soon. We already have a list of people who want to join us on here. I didn't realize.
I didn't know we're so prestigious.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize we were such a hot commodity to have people on the show. But the reception for the first episode was incredible. So
phenomenal.
You guys.
Thank you guys so much.
We got
for everything.
What? I don't even know how many views, like 30 or something.
Which is fine.
I mean, it's incredible that 30 people decided that, like, you know what? I'm going to click on this video and watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
We appreciate the support from everyone.
So much.
We have so much fun making these and planning these out, and I have fun doing all the editing for them. It's just something I like to do. So if you don't have anything else to say, Mitch, I mean, I guess that's it.
Kristaps Porzingis, if you're out there, please watch this video.
You're going to get on the show. We're going to tweet at you, Kristaps. Kristaps, come on the show, please.
Please.
We're going to tweet at you. Come on the show. Kristaps, I don't even know if you can speak English that well.
I don't think so.
Come on the show.
Don't think you can.
Whatever. We'll speak Latvian to him. If that's even the official language of Latvia. Anyways, if you're still here and you're still watching, thank you very much for making it this far. And we will see you next week.
See you guys. Bye.